Let us read from another section of In Love at Ease. This is a book about everyday spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the guru of millions of people, very well known, perhaps not to many of us here in the West, although he does have many centers throughout the whole world. One of his devotees, named Yogi Trivedi, wrote this book in honor of him. And we were recounting 3 stories that took place in Yogi's life that really meant a lot to him. The first was about how Pramukh Swami Maharaj apologized to him when he was just a little boy. I am sorry. And now everyone in the community, they would always mention it. Hey, there's the kid that you apologized to. You know, being a big spiritual master, it is not often that you silence everyone by taking accountability. It's, it wasn't rare in his life per se, but many people in that role might not realize the beauty and effectiveness of having such humility. The second story was about his birthday and how he was sick, and he still cared and remembered his birthday. And this short story is called Faith and Trust Are the Ultimate Markers of Love. So let us read. In December 2010, I started my doctorate coursework at Columbia University in the city of New York. I hit a major speed bump in terms of my health and a few individuals around me. I felt abandoned and lost. I was willing to ask them for forgiveness, but the issues had become personal, and it seemed that neither party knew how to make amends. The situation continued for a few months, and Swami Sri eventually called me to India to hear my side of the story. I traveled to India, but it had become almost impossible to meet him because of his health and daily routine. It was my last day in Mumbai, and I sadly came to the realization that I may have to fly home without being able to sit face to face with him. On that last morning, Swami Sri spotted me from across the hallway as an attendant sadhu wheeled him away. Swami Sri stopped the attendant, pointed at me, and called me with his finger. The room fell silent. I walked closer, while others tried to put off the meeting because of his schedule and health. Swami Sri was adamant. I want to meet him. I will meet him. Everyone, please let us be now. A divider panel was set up on the side, and I walked over and knelt by his wheelchair. I looked into his eyes, and then a dam broke behind my eyes. A waterfall of tears from carrying the burden of the past few months now flowed onto the Guru's garments. We did not speak for the first few minutes. He wiped my eyes with the garment wrapped around his upper body. He stroked my head as it laid in his lap. He then asked me to explain the entire predicament to him, and I responded by unloading once again, this time with passion and anger. He smiled and said, "Tell me what happened without telling me how you feel." I stopped sobbing and regained my composure. I explained the sequence of events. Swami Sri listened patiently, interrupting when necessary with his own questions about my narrative. Sadhus routinely came in to remind Swami Sri about the time. He waved all of them away. including a senior sadhu in charge of the fellowship in Mumbai. Swamishri was quite harsh, and rightfully so, in his critique of my actions. He eventually asked me why none of the other elders had intervened. He named individuals. I remained silent. Swami Sri looked at me and instructed, "Listen to what I tell you now. Calm yourself, control yourself, steady yourself. The greatest of spiritual aspirants and masters feel emotions without giving into those feelings. A storm on the outside must be met with composure on the inside. Circumstances in life will always be difficult. You cannot find the right circumstances to live life. Rather, you must steady and strengthen yourself to face whatever comes your way. Faith is the foundation of your stability." Do you believe in God? In His love for you? In His promise to stand by you? Do you believe in your Guru? That he will always be there for you, even when it seems as if he is not? Have firm faith in the belief that God and Guru are the only ones who will stand for you, by you, behind you. I was silent. I felt as if Swami Sri had just delivered the core address of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita to me in that moment. Swami Sri continued, "Besides, if this had not happened, Yogi, how would you have learned that there is no one in the entire community, the entire world, the entire universe, who loves you more, who you can call your own, who you can trust blindly, other than God and Guru, other than me? Close your eyes and think of me when you feel alone. I will be there for you. There will come a time when I will be sitting across from you and may not say a word, may not look at you, may not even recognize you. But have faith that I am listening to you and standing by you. Faith and trust are the ultimate markers of love." The meeting ended with laughs as sadhus rushed in to have a glimpse of Swami Sri before he was wheeled into his room. I could not move from my spot. Not only had my Guru given me the strength to deal with a particular ailment, he also gave me a mantra to take on life with all its difficulties. Swami Sri had emphasized the need for inner stability and strength derived from faith in the divine and the spiritual master. There were strong undercurrents of perseverance and persistence as well. I boarded a flight to New York later that night, thus raised and ushered in the right direction. Swami Sri's tone and voice were bold. He was less forgiving than ever before, but certainly just as loving and understanding. There was a progression in the three interactions that started with coddling to comforting and finally preparing me to take on life's difficulties. Care, concern, and empathy had turned into empowerment, instruction, and direction. Charitras, interactions with God and Guru, are the most accessible form of scripture in Hindu theology. Each interaction teaches and at the same time brings joy. Each interaction relates to one's own trials and tribulations in life. It is not an abstract concept tucked away in the fold of a classical language, but rather an everyday example of spirituality. In this book, I use interactions with Swami Sri to express valuable spiritual lessons from his life. I share these 3 interactions not to highlight my proximity to the Guru, but to show how he walked with his followers consistently and patiently. He was a constant, dependable presence in people's lives, and later, in their children's and grandchildren's lives. Whenever they stumbled and needed a hand to help them stand up again, I was not alone, nor was I special. These 3 interactions from my life can be replaced by thousands of interactions from the lives of others, many of them not identifying as Swami Narayan or even Hindu. The experiences shared in this book speak for themselves, and for that reason, I intentionally do not over-explain them because it is simply not needed. The emotion is tangible and sometimes raw. These interactions naturally and organically convey the universal and timeless lessons of selfless love and service, faith in God, equality and mutual respect, humility and unpretentious, easy spirituality and morality. They resonate with people from all walks of life, which is maybe why Pramukh Swami Maharaj was a guide to millions of people from diverse religious, cultural, social, and ethnic backgrounds. Pramukh Swami Maharaj's outward appearance could fool many and lead them to believe that he was unremarkable. He wrapped himself in 2 saffron garments. He wore a saffron headdress tied using a 3rd cloth. His head was shaved, leaving only a thin tuft of hair in the back. His hands were always folded, and his eyes flickered around the room, only to convey a sense of calm to others. In his hands, or in front of him, one always noticed a small murti, divine image of Bhagavan Swami Narayan, as a sign of his servitude to the divine. Though Pramukh Swami Maharaj looked and lived like a Gujarati Hindu monk attached to the Swami Narayan tradition, his life and lessons reached far beyond his community and temporal boundaries. Over the last 100 years, he taught millions to walk on the spiritual path and in turn helped shape a large portion of the society we live in. In this publication, I attempt to show Pramukh Swami Maharaj to the reader, not through his life's seemingly tangible accomplishments and achievements, of which there are thousands, but rather through the impact that these everyday social and spiritual lessons have had on millions of yogis, individuals, families, villages, communities, leaders, and nations. This is the story that I believe remains untold. And there we will pause our reading through the introduction of In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. So I thank you all for listening. And what a lovely concluding story from the Guru. I look forward to many more.